Hello. Welcome to another video with Amor. I watched a video where Teal Swan basically talks about uncertainty and how being comfortable with uncertainty and becoming comfortable with the idea of things being uncertain can really lead you to your purpose. I found the insight really interesting, valuable, and validating. Sometimes you have an idea of the way that things are gonna go. I mean, I say sometimes, it's like most of the time. You have this idea in your head that, you're gonna do this thing and then this thing is gonna happen. You have this like sequence of events in your head that you think going in one direction you're gonna get from A to B. That's the way that you see it in your head. However, many times you don't get from A to B. You do A and you end up in G. And you're like, I thought I was gonna end up in B. And now I'm in G. And then it upsets you because you really thought getting from A was gonna get you to B, but you're in G or F. Let's say F. F or fail, right? So let's take a real life example. You imagine going from A to B. You think having a kid, getting married, having kids, starting a family, buying a house, ticking the boxes is going to get you from unhappy to happy. But instead of going from unhappy to happy, you've gone from unhappy to miserable because you weren't ready to get married and have children. You were not mentally prepared. You didn't do the inner work that you needed to do before getting into a lifelong partnership and having children and raising children, because that's like a whole, you need to be mentally prepared to be in that stage, really, if you want to be able to enjoy it to the fullest and not, like being chaos. Some people it works out for them, but there are some people I know that they weren't ready to be in a relationship and have children, but they did it because they thought that if they did that they would be happy, and then they just end up being more miserable, right? So the point is, you need to be okay with not knowing where things go. If you're okay with not knowing, what's gonna happen next, because you honestly, nothing is guaranteed in life. Literally, something could happen and your entire life would just change in an instant. So the more that you're okay with that, the more that you realize what actually matters to you in life. If you get comfortable with uncertainty, you don't waste your time putting effort and energy into things that you're only doing because of the outcome. You focus much more on the process. You focus much more on the journey, because that's what you're going to be experiencing. Like, your life is going to be made up of that journey. It's not about the destination, because if you really think in those terms, like the destination is death, don't you want to enjoy the in between? That's the whole point. When you're more open-minded about the way that your life pans out, and you don't have such a strict and rigid perspective on the way that your life is supposed to go, you're more open to fun experiences. You notice more things, you take the risk, you take the chance, you take the trip, you do the spontaneous thing. You're more in touch with your intuition. You know where your heart really wants you to go, and you follow it. It's much better to live from the heart than it is to live from the mind. Sometimes you do need to balance it out, though. It should go in the order of heart, then gut, and then this one. This one should be the last one, because this one is not the most intelligent. It goes here, here, and then here. Or it can go here, here, and then here. But no matter what, this is the last one. One of these two has to be first. I'm getting distracted. What was my point? What am I even saying? I hate it when this happens. Oh yeah, if you think A to B is going from A to B, oh shit. Basically, the biggest takeaway from that video that I got was that being uncertain is okay. Being okay with being uncertain is even better. Instead of looking at being uncertain as a problem that you have to solve, just get more in tune with what really matters to you in life. How do you want to live your day to day life? If you don't know that tomorrow is going to come, if you don't know how your life is going to pan out, what do you want to do with your time? What's important to you? Who is important to you? Those are really important questions. And I think rather than living too much in the future or too much in the past, like it really is way better to live like 80% of your time in the present moment because this is where it's all happening. This is your life. Every single moment that you live is what ends up accumulating into your life. One thing that you can do is just to be comfortable with uncertainty because that's what shows you what really matters to you. And then when you find out what really matters to you, you can just spend more time doing that. Other things don't really matter. Makes life easier to figure out. Like people like to complicate this stuff, but it really is not that complicated. It's pretty simple. Well, it can be simple if you want it to be simple. Or you can just make it complicated. Maybe you like complaining and being in despair. You want to be a damsel in distress. That's your choice. That's up to you. You can do that. That's fine. Anyway, until next time, I love you. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you are in. And yeah. Bye.